I've been constantly making the mistake of thinking that like I know all, I see all, I'm omnipotent, I'm omnipresent, I'm the smartest dude out there, and in reality I'm pretty dumb, and I'm pretty uninformed, and I'm unprepared and things of that nature, and I don't know everything. And I've been trying to talk about for like the last hour why there is such a huge gap and a huge, separation between gamers and writers. And the mistake that I've constantly been making is thinking that I understand the writer's perspective. I don't. I don't understand writers. I don't understand the critics. And I think it's simply put, I'm not in that industry. I'm not in the video gaming writing and the critique industry. I don't know what it's like to have a publisher or a developer come to you and be like, hey, we want you to review our game, and we'll provide sponsorships, we'll give you advertisements, and we'll give you a free copy of the game, and we'll invite you to all of these press events and things of that nature. And I don't understand all of that. And I've been trying to become educated on it, but the more educated I become, the less I know. I watched almost a 2-hour interview with Dean Takahashi. He's the guy that he had that horrific Cuphead gameplay. Then he's also the guy that had that terrible, god-awful Doom gameplay. He has issues with playing video games. And when he was explaining why he had issues with gameplay, I understood his perspective. I just didn't understand why his perspective was that way. I understood, I understood why he was doing the things he did. I just didn't understand why he was doing the things that he was doing, if that makes sense. For example, he talked about how in the Doom Eternal gameplay, when he was just looking around and strafing and things of that nature and moving around, he didn't use his right control stick at all to move around. And when he explained it, I think he thought way too much that it was going to be a puzzle-based game, so he took his right hand off of the control stick and he didn't use the right control stick to move around. It was very, very weird to watch, not only him play the game, but also to have him explain why he didn't have his right hand on the control stick, his right thumb on the control stick.
I thought it was observant of you to notice that I wasn't using my right stick.
So you were using a controller?
I was using a controller.
Okay, yeah.
And I wasn't using my right stick. And wow, I was going wow, he's actually observant in that, this is not something, I normally do use the right stick, but I'm but I think I made it seem like I didn't know what the right stick was when I was this. And it just, I think I'm not sure why that happened, but yeah, that was a bad on my part in not trying to use the right stick more, right?
And that's more so just confusion for me, because it's impossible in my mind that you are not aware of that. You've been, regardless of the videos I've seen of you playing. Yeah. You would have to know. That's why when I was watching, I was like, this is bizarre, because I don't believe for a second you don't know how to use that. But then when I was watching the video, I was kind of noticing that you're kind of dragging in the same direction a lot while utilizing the left stick. And I was like, so why is that happening? So it's really interesting to me.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what my problem is there, but it, not self-aware of that particular part, right? Whether I deliberately fail to use the right stick more than I should. Anyway.
Point is, the more I've that stuff in general, what I just tried to explain to you is literally what he tried to explain on the podcast or that episode or that video, whatever you want to call it. It confused me. I know I just confused you. I don't understand their perspective. The only perspective that I know is my own, and I'm going to try and adjust my perspective here. Why I think there's a separation between gamers and writers from the gamer's perspective. I think, simply put, there's not a big name writer or critic or reviewer in that industry that gamers can relate to. PewDiePie, for example, was a gamer that people can relate to when he was doing games.
How's it going, Rose? My name is...
Everybody relates to Dr. Disrespect and Nick Mercs and I Will Dominate and I'm a Cutie Pie and all these other streamers that, they play these games and they talk about games on a competitive level and at a competitive perspective. But then you go to kind of the YouTube side of it. You go to YouTubers like Angry Joe, like ACG, like Review Tech USA, and you can relate to their perspective as a gamer because they're gamers. That's what they do. And that's what, like, it's obvious that that's the only thing that they do. The only thing that some of those guys do is just play fucking video games.
Yeah! Woo! Hit me up, baby! Optic Phase, man, where the contract's at? Woo!
I don't know if it's just me, but I get this feeling that some of the game reviewers and the critics and the journalists, that they don't really play video games that much anymore. And it's weird for me to be like and again, going back to the Takahashi interview, the Dean Takahashi interview, like, he talks about how he's like 55 years old and he doesn't necessarily cover specifically just video games in general. He like the gameplay and stuff like that. He talks about the business end of video games, and I think he even covers esports and things of that. Like, he covers a wide-ranging group of topics in the industry, and I get that he has other priorities, so he may not be able to play video games a lot. But it's like it's like being a basketball journalist and not going to basketball games, or being a football journalist and not going to football games. It's weird to me that people who play video games, they look like they don't play video games. And then when they try and make a critical opinion, or they try and formulate a critical opinion about video games, you sometimes have the Cuphead article and the Doom article as well. The Doom IGN review that was released all the way back in 2016. And you look at some of these guys and gals, and you're like, well, these aren't the people that I want to represent me. I want guys like Dr. Disrespect. I want guys like Angry Joe or ACG or etc., because they get it. They understand how and what we play and our gaming trends and what exactly is going on in the industry and how we feel about certain things. And I mean, maybe it is just playing video games, and that's getting that perspective from gamers. Maybe it's interacting with gamers. Maybe it's seeing what other gamers talk about. But it's like, the only thing I fucking do, I mean, I was playing fucking God of War today for no reason other than I wanted to play fucking God of War. I feel like the gaming industry would be better if both sides could come together and be like, hey, like, we have things that we can relate to. And there are times where, like, there were times, for example, when I was watching the Dean Takahashi interview, and he was like, I'm a gamer just like everybody else. I'm a gamer just like you, and I'm a gamer. And I'm like, yeah, but to what end? To what spectrum, man? Like, because I play video games almost every day, and it's like I get this feeling, man, that some people, they just don't, and their jobs are. It's like I sometimes ask the question that everyone else asks. I'm like, dude, how is your gameplay that bad in some situations and in some circles? And it's like, I don't know. It feels like I'm bitching now. It feels like I'm ranting and raving, and I'm not trying to be like overly negative. I'm just trying to like question like what's going on with game reviewers and game critics and gamers. And I just feel like there's nobody in the industry right now that has that strong voice that can permeate throughout the video throughout gamers in general. And I feel like it's not the same. I feel like it's not on the same end on developers, because developers and gamers have a great relationship. It's just video game writers and journalists and critics that have terrible relationships with gamers. And this video definitely did not solve that, because I still don't know why. I still don't understand why, but I'm just airing it out there. Just putting out, I don't get it. I want to get it. I just don't get it. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for a gamer that doesn't get it and will continue to not get it for more. Ladies and gentlemen, until my next video, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.